What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Tactical Doghouse. This is a channel where we don't waste time with music or introductory graphics or personal branding because honestly, I don't care and I don't want to waste your time. We're just going to get right to the gun review. Today, we've got the Savage Stance XR. In particular, this is the XP model. That's not confusing at all, is it? The Savage Stance XR is the follow-up to the Stance, which has been discontinued. The Stance was, and now the Stance XR is the only handgun made by Savage Arms. According to rumor, which I believe because I actually tested the original inspiration for this design, if you remember the Honor Defense firearm that came out several years ago, a Georgia-based company, I believe. I liked them because they were also promoting frangible ammunition for carry, which I'm a fan of, but that's a whole other rabbit trail. Anyway, Honor Defense sadly went out of business, and this design reportedly was picked up by Savage Arms and continued on. It's a pretty darn good design for concealed carry, in my opinion. Why? Nice little slab-sided 1-inch profile for starters. Those of you who like the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield, this is going to feel very familiar in your hand. A little bit of a tall profile, just like the Shield has. Way easier slide operation than the original Shield, I may add. And a very grippy stippling texture, pretty rough texture. A little too rough for my liking, but a lot of people like that super rough stippling that won't let you let go. On the XP model, one of the things you'll see is you've got some relief there, or some recoil relief in the slide. I do find that that makes it shoot maybe a little softer. On this particular, the XR XP model is the one with the optic pre-installed. This is a Crimson Trace CTS 1500. CTS 1500. You probably can't see that red dot in the screen there, but this is a motion activated red dot, and it is actually, the gun is 0.9 inches. The optic is 1 inch wide, so gun is like lower than industry standard for size, for width, but you get caught up on the optic, which is a full inch wide. Doesn't add a whole lot though to the profile. Crimson Trace, not really known for their red dots, but I fell in love with this little red dot when they had it on one of the Sky pistols, SCCY. Unfortunately, another company that has since gone out of business. It was the DVG-1, David versus Goliath 1 pistol that was on, that never really made it to market. But I had the opportunity to see it at SHOT Show a few years ago with the CTS 1500. Was really impressed by this little carry optic. That optic, by the way, does have a rear sight built in, but you don't need it because Savage was kind enough to give us heightened, extra high tritium sights so that you can have an iron sight co-witness with the red dot. Overall, just a great design. The one thing I don't agree with is the inclusion of a manual safety. And by the way, I know it looks backwards, but this is my left thumb operating the safety, and you're seeing it move on the right hand side of the frame. So, and it does take a little getting used to, but that operation is there. I haven't operated this gun in a while, so you can see that I struggle a little bit with the placement of that safety. I have to kind of hit it with the knuckle of my thumb. I think slide safeties are just asking for trouble with a defensive gun, slowing you down. Your safety should be keeping your finger off the trigger until your sights are on target and you've made the decision to fire. Capacity-wise, what do you get? You get a 15-round extended magazine and a 10-round shorter profile mag. So people who don't mind a dangling pinky finger, if you've got large hands, it's going to dangle. I've got medium-sized hands and I'm just right there at the bottom of the magazine floor plate. The magazines do fall freely from the gun, and that is an all ambi all the time magazine release. As you can see, I can release it. That's my left thumb, knocking stuff off the table, and releasing there. That is my right trigger finger, releasing it as would a left-handed shooter. So anyway, I'm not real crazy about that manual safety. The other thing I'm not a big fan of is on the 15-round magazine. And again, M&P Shield folks, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's got this slidey collar that's, it's not really a problem, but kind of just annoying in combination with the fact that it's an oval base plate on that magazine. And so by tactile feel, it takes a little practice to figure out which side of the mag is facing forward. Whereas, on a normal, any other normal magazine, it's flat on the rear side and rounded on the bullet side so that you can have sort of a tactile indication of where your magazines are in your holster or just in your hand, in your pocket, wherever they are. How does it shoot? It shot really well. I did a little Larry Vickers exercise, 3-target exercise, testing speed and accuracy with this. I made a barely passing score of an 80 on that test with this gun, shooting that exercise for the first time and this gun for the first time. It performed really well, didn't malfunction at all. I ran three different brands of 124 grain ammo through it. It just ran really well. No complaints there. At the end of the day, reliability is what it's all about. You need to know that that gun will go bang when you press that trigger. If you are carrying a gun for protection of your life or the life of someone, other innocent person. Anyway, any questions on the Savage XR-XP, put them in the comments, please. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this gun. Do you own one? If so, what have you experienced? What's been your experience with it? Do you own the older model? What do you think was done right or wrong in their upgrade? Let me know. Pretty interesting for a famous rifle company to have a handgun now available. I think Savage made a pretty good choice with this one personally. By the way, it's holidays 2025, got the obligatory leg lamp decorations there. If you're a gun person, of course, you're grown up Ralphie or maybe a young Ralphie, you need a leg lamp decoration on your Christmas tree. All right, until next time, this is Eve with the Tactical Doghouse. We'll see you soon with more gun reviews. Y'all take care.